Shalom, call Allah Yahbashim Yahushai, double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone. Salutations to you, brothers on the highways and byways, pushing the truth and truth of sincerity. It's the brother Yahudan from GMS Denver. Just coming at you with another video. This is going to be labeled under the Milk series, but just wanted to visit a few points of conversation and get a couple of scriptures here that are relevant to this article. It says U.S. revisits Vietnam syndrome in Afghanistan after 17 years of war and destruction. That total of war and destruction is actually much higher than that. That's just talking about the Afghanistan war, and then some of these other proxy wars that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has engaged in the Middle East. Okay, the United States has been at war for pretty much the entirety of its existence. Okay, there hasn't been a time where the United States has not been at war, a peacetime longer than 15 years. Okay, I believe is the longest time that America's been without an informal war on U.S. shores, or I'm sorry, on other nation shores. Okay, it says it is America's longest war, costing huge amounts of blood and treasure, as U.S. leaders claim, yet the signs are that Washington is finally accepting an historic defeat in Afghanistan, comparable to the ignominious Vietnam War. So I don't know what that word means. Let's grab that real quick, just to see what it means. Deserving or causing public disgrace or shame, and I would agree, because morally there's really no reason why America should be in the Middle East the way that it is. But we see that the reason that America and the other superpowers are in the Middle East the way they are is for that resources. Okay, resources being oil. Okay, that there's a reason they call the dollar, the U.S. dollar, the petrodollar. Okay, the petrodollar being petroleum and petroleum-based products, as well as opium. Opium's a big cash crop for the United States military and the United States government, as it exports opium and heroin-based products around the world. Okay, there isn't a document I can revise or I should say share to prove that, but as you examine some of the ulterior motives that the U.S. government and the higher banking elites have, you become able to see some of these devices that the wicked use to implement oppression on the world. Okay, it says intensive negotiations between American officials and Taliban insurgents have produced the biggest tangible step towards ending the nearly 18-year war in Afghanistan, according to the New York Times. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is in reference to Al-Qaeda. Okay, it's a proxy militant group that the United States government with the CIA funded and has been funding since the 80s. Okay, and that's comparable to ISIS or ISIL. That is another proxy militant group that the United States has been training and funding and weaponizing since the 80s. All right, to do just exactly what they're doing now in the Middle East, which is overthrow regimes in the Middle East, in these countries that refuse to accept and express democracy, alongside with the U.S. petrodollar. There's a model, there's a saleable model that the banking elites has come up with that the United States enforces, okay, with its military. And when that model is not accepted, then the banking elites implement things like proxy armies, such as ISIS or ISIL or Al Qaeda. In this conversation is referencing Al Qaeda being an 18-year war, and that's something that's going to continue. All right, they use guerrilla tactics, and this is something that goes back to DARPA, or even ARPA, which is the Advanced Research Projects Agency, that goes all the way back to the 50s and 60s in the Vietnam era. And this is something Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has been utilizing not only on American soil, but for a very long time now, okay, since the Vietnamese War. And some of these psyops are human terrain mapping, okay? Human terrain mapping is a collection of biometric and data about human beings in themselves, and it collects it in a census type demographic, okay, that interprets, it's like an algorithm that interprets people's behavior. Okay, that's what human terrain mapping is. It's a psyop that was progressed and developed in Vietnam, okay, by DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, that's funded by the U.S. government. Okay, does not actually fall under any particular military branch, but nonetheless develops quote unquote advanced technology for the U.S. military to implement in their inquisitions. We should call them. That's what they're called, inquisitions. The United States military is infamous for opening inquisitions, military inquisitions upon people, upon nations that don't accept their beliefs or accept democracy. Again, democracy meaning demon, and crassy rulership. So we're looking at nations refusing demon rulership, and because they refuse to accept democracy, they get invaded by the U.S. military, and they also get invaded by proxy militants that the U.S. military has funded and trained for decades. Okay, that's the game that we're playing. That's the game that Esau has developed, and that's what we're looking at currently. So, in reference to that, we have some scriptures here that show you who this individual is spiritually, show you what nation of people this is in reference to the milk series that I had completed or continued, and hopefully it's edifying. Second Thessalonians 2 chapter 2 verse 2 verse 4. I mean, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yahweh, or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. And that's a true statement for the man of sin, the son of perdition, because that's exactly what we see when a nation has developed the capability to harass and molest other nations for not basically adhering to their belief structure, basically by accepting democracy. They refuse to do so. So in fact, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is a bully. That's what he relies on, is bullying, his tactics of bullying. And when another nation does not accept the petrodollar model or democracy model, then they send these proxy militant armies into their nations and unleash complete chaos and destruction to these nations. I mean, if you look at Syria, right now Syria is a mess. Damascus is in pieces. Okay, Assad's picking up the mess in Syria because he refused to accept the petrodollar system. He refused to accept the democracy model, and therefore has chose to side with alliances with Russia and China. Okay, so that's why you see Russian troops in Syria. That's why you see American troops in Syria, because right now they're basically warring over a third-party regime that is going to be a huge asset and pipeline for resources such as oil, petroleum oil, and opiates, I should say, such as heroin, and other pharmaceutical companies will get in on that and synthesize these opiums into legal prescriptions in America, legal prescriptions around the world, which furthermore just destroy communities, because these prescriptions have been scientifically proven to create addictions or addictive personalities in people towards opium. So these people later go on and abuse heroin and other street forms of opium, and then end up ODing and dying from pure heroin coming in from Afghanistan. Okay, and this is the man of sin. This is the reference I'm trying to make. Again, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So he's playing God by playing with people's lives. He's playing with countries as if they're his to play with. Okay, and then he's just been given temporary ownership, temporary power over the world, the so-called white man, pre-World War III and pre the return of the King, Hamashiach, Yahushai, who the world calls Jesus Christ, okay? Yahushua is going to return and reclaim ownership of the earth, as well as rebuild the foundations of the earth over the destruction and rubble that is laid waste to this current world that we live in. Okay, that's the prophecy. This is the prophecy of the man of sin in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and we're trying to bring light to the identification of that individual. It says, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things." As a testament to the regeneration, all right, because we're regenerated in the spirit to live multiple lives, okay. And now ye know that know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So that's just the prophecy towards Esau Edom, that man of sin, the spirit of evil, the spirit of Cain, the spirit of Esau, who became the nation of Edom. All right, that jealous, murderous, carnal spirit basically is being allowed to consume the earth for a short period of time until he be taken out of the way. All right, but and also he's been revealed. We have revealed him. The elder apostles of Great Millstone have revealed Esau Edom as that man of sin, as that son of perdition. Perdition meaning destruction, bringing about the end of the world, the bringing about the end of this age, and bringing about a new age, which is the age of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in utmost righteousness in the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, real quick, we are not ignorant of the devices of the wicked. Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11 says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." So Satan, spiritual Satan, is dealing with spiritual Cain on the earth, which is spiritual Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom. I hope you see these linear transitions. I'm trying to make points in the scriptures of where the same spirit or the same point is being made, and therefore hopefully allow for a clearer understanding of how the scriptures and the prophecies are interpreted. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Job 9:24 says that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Meaning that Satan is in ownership of the earth right now. The Lord has basically unleashed Satan on the earth, unleashed him, and allowed him to roam free upon the earth and get into all manners of wickedness and evil. Job 9:24, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he?" So that's a question mocking those that don't understand this parable. Basically, if not where and who is he means, if not, then who else could be the son of perdition, the son of destruction, the spirit of Cain, other than Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man? Okay, that's what we're looking at. We see these identifying things like the scriptures saying, rumors of war. These are the beginning of trials and tribulation. Okay, and that's Matthew. We're gonna get that. Let's see. It's rumor in the Old Testament, unless I'm completely misspelling that. Might be. There it is. Matthew 24:6. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." And these are identified by Yahushua Hamashiach, our King, our Savior, if we are the prospectful elect, okay, as the beginning of sorrows. These identifying factors that we're fighting 18-year wars in other people's countries against militants that aren't even of that country. Okay, these proxy militant wars, these proxy wars that go on for decades. Okay, these are these rumors of wars. These rumors of wars that we're in a trade war with China and Russia currently. The petrodollar is being competed against by the BRICS yuan-based, gold-backed yuan. Okay, Chinese yuan. All right, these are gold-backed currencies. So these are the rumors of war. These are the identifying factors of who that man of sin is. We're gonna add this to the Milk series. Hopefully, this was edifying. I did what I could with the time I had. For now, I say shalom.